Hello. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Earlverse. In the house. Thank you, Dr. Nova. I moisturize and I work out and I don't abuse my body so I can be 56 years old. Danny Dangerous. Is that the real Danny Dangerous? Identify yourself, Mr. Dangerous. Because this is a momentous occasion if this is the real Danny Dangerous. Bass player extraordinaire of the 80s legendary Los Angeles Sunset Strip band, The Zeros. Pina Colada Bang. That is the real Danny Dangerous. Danny, plug, do you have a website or anything you want to plug in here? Send a link. For those of you who don't know, Danny is also the sound engineer at the Comedy Store. So any tape of mine that you have heard, he's the reason why you can hear it so well. If I only had the money to have Danny be the sound guy for this stream. Please support Danny. No, not Dangerous Toys. Danny Dangerous is the bass player from the band The Zeros, who were so big at one point, the Whiskey A Go-Go painted the whole building their main color, which is purple. So we got the King game tonight. I'm watching right now the Rangers and the Capitals. Yes. Please come see Earl. And, you know, the more people that are there to see me, the more spots I get the next week. Who knows? If things keep up the way they are, there'll be a show on Netflix called Kill Earl. Hello! Already a fantastic fight in this Ranger Capital game with Matt Rempe and Dylan McElrath, who ironically enough was a first-round pick of the New York Rangers in 2010. So he's carved out a nice career. Yeah, do you know how much pussy Freddie Freeman can get right now? Man, oh man, I wish I played baseball as a kid. I went to Notre Dame High, as you know, in my freshman year. Notre Dame High was the number one team in the country. All right, we got a breakaway. Kreider, shorthanded, breaks his stick. Led by future Cy Young Award winner, the great six-pack Jack McDowell. So, and who else was on that team? I'm trying to think who else was on that team. Really, Jack McDowell was unbelievable. I mean, to see him pitch in high school, it was unfair. Give it a few months. Tony might be doing an alt-right podcast called American Nuremberg. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You know, I don't think this is going to hurt Tony at all. See ya, Danny. To be honest with you, because, you know, the people who are speaking out about him, you know, the host on MSNBC and CNN, Yeah, you're right. I don't really care who wins this game. Let me turn the TV off. Um, so you know, so he's not losing any fans really. If anything, he's gaining fans because this will make him appear stronger to his fan base. So I don't know who Tim Pool is, but he probably doesn't know who I am. Uh, oh, 100% Dr. Nova. And people are like, get him canceled at UTA. He was already canceled or dropped from William Morris or whoever he was with after the Ping Dang thing. Didn't hurt him at all. The Kill Tony got bigger. I mean, Tony is a heel character, and he's leaning into it. He's doubling down. I mean, not only was the Puerto Rican joke probably not the best joke to tell at a political campaign, but the black guy, the watermelon thing, that's like straight, that's a Kill Tony joke. Now, I guarantee you, last night was probably the most watched Kill Tony of all time. So it's just not going to hurt him. You people, really, the only thing that could ever hurt Tony is if Rogan cut him loose. Then you might, you know, some of you might be happy, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. You know how much money Kill Tony makes the mothership? A lot. And even on nights where Kill Tony isn't, any night but Monday, people go there because it's like, oh, this is the place where Kill Tony is. So, he's set in a pretty good position. Um, I mean, I remember the time I was watching TV on a Sunday night when Dalia got in trouble, the first, the breaking news with Dalia. And I was watching, I think I was watching You, ironically enough, the first season. And, I looked at my Twitter page and said, Chris D'Elia, 2,500 mentions. That's a lot. Oh, Chris must be doing a new movie or something. And then about an hour later, it was like 25,000 mentions. I'm like, oh, wow, this must be a hell of a movie. And then like 2 hours later, it was like 65,000 mentions or something. I'm like, oh man, something's going down. And then I think yesterday on Twitter, Tony, just his name was at 172,000 mentions. Like that's crazy. And then Kill Tony was at like 32,000 mentions. So it's really not hurting him. Um, so I think people who are trying to get people to speak out about Tony, it's not going to hurt. He might not have, in a weird way, he probably gained fans. So, this might end up being the most watched roast set of all time. So, it's hardly hurtful. Yeah, 100% Dr. Nova. Well, I don't think people knew about the underage stuff. I mean, I know I certainly didn't. I mean, I knew Chris was a pussy hound, but that's hardly a crime. I mean, there were nights at the Comedy Store where he was juggling, you know, 2, 3 girls in different rooms. I mean, I've told the story once that he asked me, he was dating this brunette girl, and she was actually really cool. We're talking about muscle cars and stuff, and Chris said, "Hey, can you put her in the main room?" Yeah, no problem. So I put her in the main room. I come back out. I say, "Hey, I just put Delia's girl in the main room," and this guy goes, "Well, I just put his girl in the original room," and like, "Oh fuck." I mean, he was juggling, but I didn't know about the underage stuff. And that's not me playing dumb. I mean, I just didn't. I just thought, "Oh, this guy's a real playboy." Um, so I don't know if a lot of people did know that Doctor Nova. And he still sells out theaters. I mean, you have to do something so heinous to be canceled. And unlike Chris, Tony doesn't really act. He's not in TV or movies as a actor. So what are you going to cancel him from? And even if you pull let's say YouTube and Spotify pull Kill Tony, um, he's big enough now that he could probably just do what Alex Jones does and put his show on his own servers. Now that probably costs a fair amount of money, but Kill Tony is a license to print money at the moment. So Earl, do you think Eddie Nash was getting his supply from the same people as Rick Ross, and that's why he was so protected? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Eddie Nash was dialed in. I mean, you got to understand, and I don't know what it's like in whatever areas you guys are from, but in LA to get a liquor license was pretty hard to do back then. I mean, it was a couple $100,000, and you had to really pay off a lot of people, or else you didn't get it. And I think at one point, Eddie Nash owned like 25 liquor licenses, at least 20. I mean, he owned way more than just the Starwood. He owned, the Starwood. He owned, I think, the place where Jimmy Kimmel is filmed was like a nightclub. He owned the Odyssey. He owned Phases, which was basically the Odyssey of the Valley. He owned strip clubs. I think the Seven Seas. So, you know, and to have like 20 liquor licenses, I mean, you are juiced in. So Chad claims the D'Elia rumors are true. Yeah, but Chad's a bit of a provocateur. He's just saying that so people argue with him. You know, um, Tony isn't the one who got hurt. Um, I mean, in terms of who got hurt, I mean, funny enough, I mean, here's the scary thing is that, if Trump loses, I mean, listen, I believe it's dead even right now. But if, you break down the numbers after the election, and if it comes out that Trump lost by a percentage point here, a percentage point there, where the Puerto Ricans turned on him, I could see Tony getting death threats. Now, if Trump wins, it's all good. Everyone's forgotten about it. Roth Miller. I don't know what you guys are talking about in that regard. Well, he is from Youngstown, Ohio, but welcome, Dr. Chow, the Chowman. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, I think people, I mean, I don't think Tony would argue this. He's not exactly liked by a lot of comics. So, um, but I think these you notice today on Twitter a lot, and I kind of wrote a mocking Instagram post. Everyone's shitting on Tony, but then they're posting their clips from Kill Tony. Get the fuck out of here. So we don't talk about Ohio tops and bottoms and middles, and I mean, we don't do that in the Earlverse. So it'll be interesting, to see. I mean, MSNBC tonight, CNN both let off with his set. So, and I noticed Trump said I didn't know who he was, which is, he knows who Tony is. And JD Vance stumbling and bumbling through well, I don't want to talk about that joke. Um, so and then the Harris campaign already putting out a Puerto Rican um, style ad campaign out with Tony's set. I mean, Tony's loving this. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, his bad guy persona just got amplified 100-fold. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I don't think the bubble will burst on Kill Tony anytime soon. Um, you know, so but at some point it will. Um, and then Tony's going to need help. In his next move. But listen, as long as he's got Rogan in his corner, it doesn't really matter. Uh, I mean, well, the Van Nuys Airport, I can't really get into what you guys are thinking, but I will say, as someone who's flown out of the Van Nuys Airport, it is kind of under the radar. Like I could understand uh, how drugs could be flown in and out of there. 100% it's WWE, or I like to say it's AEW. Um, I would love to know what the ratings were last night for Kill Tony. I guarantee it was the most watched Kill Tony of all time. Um, so, but getting back to the Eddie Nash question, I mean, he definitely was wired into the. I mean, that was an era where you could absolutely buy your protection. I mean, everyone knew what was going on at the Odyssey, which, if you are familiar with the LA area, it is right on. It was essentially on the corner of Beverly and La Cienega, directly across the street from the Beverly Center, which was just opening up. So there was a heavy police presence around that area. Now that area is LAPD, but you also have the West Hollywood Sheriff Station, which is literally a quarter of a mile up. So, uh, Dylan, I know. No, 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 no. What dollar super chat would it take for you to karaoke "One in a Million" by Guns N' Roses on stream, word for word? I since I don't need the money, there is no dollar amount. Um, for those of you who usually only the Chicken Man makes me laugh, but that is very funny. Yeah, for touche, Dylan. Yeah, I don't. What do you? No, I'm good. Thank you. If I was desperate for the money, I'd probably say fuck it. But yeah, I don't. I don't think they do that song anymore. But maybe it's because they have a huge 300-pound black drummer. I would guess uh, that he would have influence in that not being played. So, to answer your question, there is no dollar amount. Now, I know Ted DiBiase said everybody has a price. Um, but yeah, I mean, oh boy, man, there's not a super chat amount, uh, you know. But I'm also in a weird way like Hinchcliffe. I mean, I can't really be canceled. I mean, what are you going to take away from me? I mean, the jellies, unfortunately, probably is never coming back, which is unfortunate. Hit the like button. If I get to 100 likes in this stream in the next 5 minutes, I'll sing "One in a Million" word for word. Hello. Goodbye. Um, oh, we got 11 likes. Well, that's close enough. No, I'm just kidding. What up, Toto Payne Diaz? Oh, Jesse Lee Peterson would have sang backup on it. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it reminds me of the old Robert Schimmel joke. Would you suck Mike Tyson's dick for $1 million? And he was like, That buys a lot of mouthwash. Um, well, let's just say William Axel says, Newports and Piazzas, get out of my way. If you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. See, I got 3 extra likes, just people trying to get me to 100. Um, so I'll save you the trouble, Zoom. It's a pretty famous Guns N' Roses song. Uh, well, no, I don't. That along with the Jackal song "She Loves My Cock" uh, had trouble getting radio play. And can a Newport get a table dance? Which is actually a catchy song if you take out that word, but if you take out that word, it's not really a great song. Can a Newport get a table dance? Turn it up, turn it up. It is a good song. Like the beat, it is a great song, 100% by Guns N' Roses. But I just don't know. If a guy who looks like Axl Rose can pull off dropping a hard N bomb in a stadium of 25,000 people. But Guns N' Roses, they do have a kind of an interesting fan base. I mean, I remember. Would you ever wear? Uh, I don't know what that is, Dr. Chow. I'm a Breitling guy, but I certainly wouldn't say the N word on a stream to get a Breitling, unless it was a Submariner. Hello, Steel Panther. I am a fan of Steel Panther. Now I'm a little impartial because I know Ralph Saines, who is the singer, David Lee Ralph. I mean, they're better musicians in a lot of cases than the bands they're paying tribute to. I mean, Dr. Chow, in terms of luxury watches, probably the most valuable watch I have. I have like 4 Breitlings, but one was a special made watch for my friend who was like a Navy SEAL. So if you get lost, you can pull out this antenna and like it's got a compass and it's like a James Bond watch. And then probably the most valuable watch to me, uh, like if my house is ever on fire, what would I grab? Like if I could grab one thing other than Lois, I would grab the Tag Heuer watch my mom gave me. That's probably not that valuable of a watch. I mean, it's a 30-year tag, so I'll guess it's a couple grand, but just because of what it means to me. Um, I mean, I like Guns N' Roses. I like their hits, and I will say this about Guns N' Roses. Um, that they give you your money's worth in concert. I mean, I would say the average Guns N' Roses concert, I think I've been to 3 or 4, has been well over 3 hours. So, but I also have, uh, I'll be honest, I'm stuck with about probably 40 to 50 Casio, Seiko, like nice, like they're top of the line watches, and I don't wear them anymore. I really just wear my one Breitling, and I do have 2 Omega watches. Um, so, um, there's not. I just love Breitlings, the big ones. Um, yeah, I like Mr. Brownstone. I mean, I like You Could Be Mine. Obviously, I like the big, big, big hits. I'm not a Rolex guy. Now, I've never had one, but I much prefer a Breitling and a Tag. But the one my mom gave me, it's kind of small on my wrist, and I have small wrists, but it's a little tight. But man, I wish I could get rid of those 30 to 40 Seiko watches. Like they're really nice. Like they're all like automatic, very clean, but I'm kind of stuck with those probably. I mean, I'm sure I could probably go to a pawn shop and get maybe $500, and I would estimate that they're maybe five to $10,000 worth, but well, I mean, the Barry Manilow house. I remember my mom taking me there because she was friends with him, and I just remember even as a kid going, "Where are the girls?" Um, but I just love the size. The big one I usually wear is upstairs. I like the Omegas I have; they're nice. Um, I think the Breitling that I bought a couple years ago was around $4,500. So, it's not, that sounds like a lot, but as Chow can tell you, that's nothing. There's watches that cost 100 grand and up. Um, oh shit, Earl, did my bro Big Neil promise you a blocks episode if you canceled MLC? I didn't cancel MLC. Kevin was supposed to send me the link. I waited around all afternoon. And I'm not sure what it is, Chris. I just bought it because I liked how it looked. And then about 3:45 when Kevin was wrapping up, he's like, I was supposed to have Earl on, and he kind of made it seem like I flaked out, and I texted him right away. I said, "You never sent me the link." I had the football phone. I remember those watches, AC/DC. So, um, you know, but nowadays, this neighborhood I live in is so rough. I don't wear my watches. I'll wear them to the comedy store, but like when I come home and have to walk Lois around the neighborhood, I take all my jewelry off. So Earl is doing it the best. Well, I mean, if I was doing it the best, I'd have more than 16 people in here. But I do believe at some point people will tire of the Dabbleverse talk and whatnot and go, hey, let's go to Earl's. So we'll see. Brennan claims he forgot. I mean, I'm sure he did. I don't think Kevin was malicious in doing it. I mean, to his credit and Chad's, I was invited last week, but I was in a cartoon gig all week. So, yes, the Sweet 16. Let's get it to 18 so it's not creepy. Boing. So, I mean, the numbers in my stream, they stay consistent. I mean, they top out at about 30, you know. But I also know, I mean, it's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right now. I realize that I'm pretty much the last one that's streaming. So, there is probably some streaming burnout by this point in night. I don't know, voiceover gigs, you do them, and it could be a year from now. They may never air, to be honest with you. Was the cartoon gig Bobby Santino's? No, wasn't. The Hog, yes, the Hog. I've done so many voiceover gigs, pilots for Adult Swim, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max. You do them, you get paid for them. And, I've done full seasons, and when you do a pilot for a cartoon, you do it and shown to network executives. But when you do a full season, it's pretty much a given it's going to air. And sometimes they do a full season, never airs. They just change their mind. Someone in the main cast fights it being released for whatever reason. Maybe they do another cartoon. They don't want to compete with that one. And it's very interesting. They say Donald Sutherland was the king of unaired shows. Like because Donald Sutherland was a great actor, and he could play the dad, he could play the bad guy, like he did in Stallone's Lockup. So he apparently did like 20 or 30 just unaired TV shows that never saw the light of day, and they're just stuck in someone's video vault. What's your average pay for a voice job? Well, like on the Jellies, I was the lead. So I was in every episode. So it's about $12.50 the SAG minimum. I think the Jellies we typically did. I think on Adult Swim we did 2 seasons. I think each season was about 10 episodes. So, it's a fair amount of money. And, that's, the show never got canceled. We just, Tyler's just too busy, and Tyler's like a kid. He likes to move on to different things. And, he played Coachella. He opened up for Beyonce. Like people kind of, he's kind of under the radar huge. Like you don't realize how big he is. Um, yeah, I mean, that would be great if there was a network just unaired shows or, canceled shows that, like the my friend Billy Gardell was on a show called Heist on NBC. It's kind of a similar idea to Smith, the Ray Liotta show I love. But I think it was like a 6-episode run. They aired the first 5 episodes, very much like Smith, and then they just said "fuck it" and canceled it with 1 episode left. You going to feed the homeless on Thanksgiving at the Laugh Factory? No, I hang out with comics enough. Hello. You think I want to watch Tom Arnold bomb for an hour? Get the fuck out of here. When's the West Hollywood Parade is Thursday. Maybe I'll do a live stream from there. I mean, that's the real deal if you want to get into it. So they did that with the show Kidnapped. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, and then there's like, well, the show I was on it was probably my first act. No, it was my first TV acting gig. That show was called The Fifth Corner, which was directed by John Hertzfeld, who played Stallone's. No, he played the Night Slasher's #1 lieutenant in Cobra. He didn't have a speaking role, but he was like third in the credits. John Hertzfeld. He did that show where Alex MacArthur, who was in LA Takedown, the precursor to Heat, also in the Madonna video for, I think, Like a Prayer, where he played the mechanic. He's like a really good looking guy. And The Fifth Corner was kind of like that Fox show John Doe, where this guy has amnesia, and when he wakes up, he's a hitman, but he's always trying to find his true self. So it was on Friday nights on NBC. And so the first episode does really well. It didn't like get bonanza ratings, but this could be a new hit. And then the second episode was supposed to be the next Friday, and we invade Iraq. And then they took like 3 weeks off, to cover the war and whatnot. And then I think they aired the second episode, and I think they'd done about 6 episodes total. And so only 2 episodes aired, and then that was it. So there's 4 now. Not that there's a big market for people who want to see the final 4 episodes, but it would be cool if there was a network that catered towards canceled TV shows or full shows that never aired. You'd probably run out of programming pretty fast, and there's probably like, it would be like rough to, in terms of how you pay some of the actors, like if you got a pilot from say 1995 and, 3 of the 7 or 8 regular actors from the series are dead, who gets paid, stuff like that. Chicken, do you miss the racist Halloween costumes? No, they're still in my closet. Hello. He did do 2 Days in the Valley that's my favorite gay porn title ever, was a knockoff on that called 2 Gays in the Alley. Boing. Yeah, he was in the Alex McCarthy was, I think, the mechanic in the Like a Prayer video. I still want your eyes, pig. Yeah, because wasn't there a black Jesus in it or something? So #1 Son would be a hit on that channel. Well, clip it. And issued with those old unaired shows is that. Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at like, there was I think I was reading on a loose spin-off of Miami Vice that they did. It was a complete rip-off of the show. There was 2 younger guys. I think they might have done a pilot that aired, but it didn't do very well. But I think, much like The Fifth Corner, there were several episodes filmed. It's like one of my favorite one season. Speaking of Miami Vice ripoffs, was the show Fastlane, which was on Fox with Bill Duke, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Peter Fasinelli, and Bill Bellamy. And Peter and Bill were basically playing Crockett and Tubbs. And it was pretty much the same fucking plot where Bill Bellamy's brother got killed. So he comes out to LA to find the killer. And then he becomes partners with Peter. And um, the LA DJ Big Boy, who at the time was like 400 pounds. Now he's like really skinny. He played like the Izzy on the show, and now they did air the full season, but that's a great one season and under show. Um, so yeah, I mean, Fastlane was it was on Amazon. I remember watching it on Amazon. Crime Story would be a good 2 season and under show. I mean, certainly not an unknown show, and I don't think there's any um, unaired episodes of Crime Story. But and that one show on Fox I loved with I think it was 2006 maybe, where Rachel Nichols played an FBI profiler. So kind of like the old Robert Davi show Profiler, but this one was real dark. It almost kind of had like a Millennium feel to it. Great cast, Adam Baldwin, I believe. One of the killers was played by Mike Starr, who from Dumb and Dumber, and the great Hart Bachner. Yeah, Rachel Nichols was hot in this show, like really kind of had a Bridget Fonda vibe. But that I think was canceled with some unaired episodes left. So, um, I just don't know. It's such a niche audience of like how many people outside of me would want to see the unaired episodes of The Inside. Um, and you could also do the unaired pilot of Sons of Anarchy where Scott Glenn, there's a full edited and shot pilot with Scott Glenn as the Clay Morrow character. And I think not Emilio Estevez, Emilio Rivera in that pilot was actually one of the sons, whereas in the one with Ron Perlman, and from that episode on with Ron Perlman, he was a Mayan. So why I think Scott Glenn, was kind of like the problem with Eric Stoltz and Back to the Future, where Scott Glenn was playing it real straight, not a lot of humor. Like he was playing it like a Hell's Angels type leader would play it. Have you seen Emilio Rivera's stand-up? I mean, he's a talented actor. And he's probably funny to his crowd, which would be an Hispanic audience. But no, I mean, is it good? Chicken Man Brennan. Where's Dr. Nova? Oh, he's right there. Well, yeah, a lot of those shows, Dr. Nova, were the Bill Man. Those 80s it's literally like Boogie Nights where they were not digital, they were filmed on tape. So yeah, they're probably I know Ron Perlman started out as a stand-up. And I've seen some clips of him at the Improv. He was pretty funny. So it is, when I met, it's funny, I was just watching The Longest Yard last night, the real one. And I remember meeting Ed Lauder at the gay car wash, literally about 50 yards behind me. And we sit down pretty close to each other on the bench, and he just kind of looks at me. I'm like, game ball. And it took him a second to realize it. He's like, hey, man, how you doing? I'm Ed. I'm like, I know, but you'll always be Captain Knauer to me and the cop from Raw Deal. And so we got to talking, and Ed Lauder started out as a stand-up. So, on K Locos. Yeah, I never watched K Locos. Yeah, Bill's brother Jim listening to Hanover Fist playing with his nunchucks. The great, yes, he was the coach in Youngblood. Elon Mitchell Smith, who I believe is in Austin, Texas, of all places, teaching. I forget what he's teaching, but he quit the business. Just said, fuck it. That's a guy who could have been a star, and he kind of was for a minute, Weird Science. What else? He was in a couple of, the Chocolate War, of course, The Wildlife, but he just I don't know if the business ate him up or not. I think when I had Patton Oswalt on my podcast, we talked. He knows Elon Mitchell Smith, and he said he's just happy teaching, having a family. Michael Keaton, Comedy Store, paid regular baby doll. He probably got sick of the casting couch. Well, he was a good-looking kid. I mean, when you look at him in The Wildlife, you could definitely see that guy was probably predatorized. Good-looking, a twink, if you will, and I can only imagine what the casting couch was like in the 80s. So, unfortunately, we lost the talent with him. I mean, you look at the Wildlife, we lost a couple people. The business chewed up, Ginny Wright, Elon Mitchell Smith. I mean, Chris Penn, I would say the business chewed him up. I mean, he was a good actor. I mean, I thought he was just as funny in Wildlife as Sean Penn was in Fast Times. And you look at look at Michael Bowen, the bad guy from Valley Girl who played one of Bill's buddies. In The Wildlife, last I saw him, he was on an episode of Animal Kingdom looking rough. Yeah, I mean, Michael Shoffley. Well, Michael Shoffley, I don't think ever liked the business. He was just like, fuck it, I'd rather be a carpenter. This business ain't for everybody. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say there have been times I thought of quitting, but, there's times when you see shitty people succeed in this business, you're like, what am I doing? Like, what on earth am I doing in this business? But I still like doing stand-up, and, like when I got my spots this week at the Comedy Store, 12:15 this Saturday night, I was excited. Yeah, I mean, we could sit here, and talk for the next 12 hours of people that this business chewed up. Look at Paul Land from The Idol Maker. I mean, go watch The Idol Maker. And, Paul Land was a great actor. But I think he did one movie after that and literally became a plumber. And then, so look at some of the guys from the Warriors. The guy that played Rembrandt. He died of AIDS, I think, a few years later. I mean, to be a gay Puerto Rican kind of twinkish actor in the 80s, I'm sure he got the casting couch. I gotta be honest with you. I do think The Wildlife is funnier than Fast Times. But Jill Allen, whoa, the Chicken Man coming in with a deep Comedy Store reference of Jill Allen. It's time to end the stream if I am forced to explain to the stream who Jill Allen is. Interesting. Chicken Man. Well, the business did chew her out. I don't know where Jill was from, but she probably came out here, be an actress or whatever, starts fucking the manager at the Comedy Store. Then she started fucking everyone who wasn't the manager at the Comedy Store while still dating the manager at the Comedy Store. So, yeah, I mean, that, she is a textbook example of, and I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. I've seen it, with Roast Battle. I've seen comics who did that show. They got a little bit of fame from it or heat, and then they fuck a few people from the show, and then in those people's minds, we've already had them. They're old news, and they're just left. They can't even get on a lineup. Um, I mean, this business is brutal out here. She tried to sue the Comedy Store podcast. Yeah, I mean, it's Peter Chicken Man, Brennan. See, when you start saying stuff like that, I do kind of want to know who you are, but in some ways, I don't. Um, I mean, this. I mean, this business is brutal, man. I mean, it's everything you guys have read about and more. Oh, Dr. Nova chiming in. Interesting. Dr. Nova and Chicken Man coming in hot on the Jill Allen take. I guarantee you, no one is talking about Jill Allen in any other stream. I mean, the last time I saw her, she was asking me for money, so I kind of had to cut the cord. I get a lot of comics hitting me up for money because they think I'm rich, and it's like I'm not rich, man. I wish I had the money people think I had. But I still talk to Dean, the manager, her ex, but she had a lot of exes. But I don't want her to sue me, so let's stop with the Jill Allen. What if Peter Chicken Man Brennan? No, Dave doesn't have the Comedy Store knowledge that the Chicken Man does. I don't know who the Chicken Man is. Don't want to know. Don't know who Dr. Nova is. But when you drop a Chicken Man, when the Chicken Man drops a Jill Allen reference, that is someone deep, a deep operative of the Comedy Store in the mid 2000s. So it's fun for me to talk about, but let's move on. I see the listeners have dropped since we've started trying to explain who Jill Allen is. I got to get ready for the Kings in San Jose Sharks. In honor of Halloween, who is more corpse like Boone Shakalaka or Argus Hamlin? Definitely Boone. I mean, Boone. But you know what? Boone never smelled. I never smelt BO on him. Yeah, or Argus either. Now Frazier, that's another story. I think Frazier showers, but he doesn't wash his suits. Yeah, I am doing it on another level tonight. I mean, we are talking Jill Allen. We are talking Boom Shakalaka. So hit the like button. And like I said, we've got about 12 more minutes. If we get to 100 likes, I'll sing the Guns N' Roses song One in a Million, word for word. And we'll just end the Earlverse in style, baby dolls. Whose suits smell worse, Frazier or actually, I believe Frazier, because I never really got close enough to Robert to smell him, but he never smelled, and his beard was always well coiffed. His teeth, though, I don't know what he brushed his teeth with, but I think it was a baseball bat with barbed wire on it. I mean, his teeth were rough, like down to the roots. I mean, Robert William Epperviah's teeth looked like black licorice squares. And as much as he didn't like us, the store late night's not the same without him. Him creeping around with a plastic bag on his head. I mean, that was the great thing about the Comedy Store right before it got popular again, was freak show that it was. You had Boone Shakalaka laying out 100 CDs on the patio counter, selling them for $1. You had Epperviah doing the same set word for word for like 10 straight years. I mean, you had Sunset Jesus walking around giving back rubs to people. It was really the Wild West. Lemmy toothbrush. I don't think there was a used Lemmy toothbrush. Straight out of the box, baby doll. You don't get those characters anymore. No, Sunset Jesus died a couple years ago. Kevin Lee Light was his real name. Do you believe in karma? Since Dave Taylor didn't make it? Davey Wester or Davey Taylor? I was there the night Davey Wester, who had cerebral palsy, beat Dave Taylor in a race running down Sunset from Saddle Ranch to the store parking lot. One of the great all-time Monday night moments at the Comedy Store. Hold on, I'm getting a text from a big-time agent, one of the big three-lettered agents. I've got to you. Um, so, by the way, Alexander Ovechkin is 38 goals away from catching Wayne Gretzky. Here's the deal: I would not piss on any of you if you were on fire. I hope you all get cancer. I don't know who Matt Blake is, baby doll. I don't know all the Comedy Store freaks. I mean, I knew all the people who would say would be invited to a Brett Gilbert barbecue with the great one with an open wound cooking the burgers, sweating his germs into the burgers. Of course, some of the all stars that were at a Dave Taylor barbecue: Nick Youssef, Brett Gilbert, Tawny Katane, Angelo Bowers, John Tomaszewski, Carlos Herrera, Eric Back in the New York Gruber, Robbie Slowick. I mean, it was a real who's who of LA comedy. Actually, I don't believe James Painter was ever at a Dave Taylor barbecue. And the Dave Taylor barbecues stopped because Boone Shakalaka stole a bunch of David Taylor's books. Um, well, I did see James Painter do a couple potluck sets maybe about 6 months ago, and you could tell he has not adjusted his humor. So the crowd wasn't really digging it. Now, the comics in the back were all laughing, but unfortunately, now at the Comedy Store, you got to do a little more than just make the comics in the back laugh. Matt Blake is a top CAA comedy agent. Well, hook me up, Chicken Man. You seem like you got some people on your payroll. I mean, there is a market now for a show called Kill Earl. We don't talk about Aaron Butler eating someone's stink box in here. This is not the Dabble Land. Thank you very much. Let's end the stream. We got about 8 more minutes. So now is the part of the stream where you can ask Earl Skakel anything, and I will give you an answer. You can talk about wrestling, politics, whatever. Yeah, Earl isn't into yes, I'm not. We don't do butt talk in here. This is a comedy stream. Yeah, I do decide that, Dominic. I can choose not to talk about it unless you guys super chat me. Then it's game on. Hello. I would say I'm Dabbleverse adjacent. Like, I know everyone in the Dabbleverse, but outside of MLC, I won't do anyone's shows. Mama, we're all crazy now. Mama, we're all. Yes, let's hit the plugs, Patreon and Twitter and Instagram. I just put up some new videos on YouTube, so please check that out. I don't shill you guys for money. I appreciate whatever you do, the comments on the videos or just the views on the videos. I've kind of fell off the algorithm, I think, for YouTube. I noticed the streams, they average about 120 views now, not a tremendous amount. So I've got to somehow get back in the algorithm. So that's why I'm trying to do a few more streams than I normally would. We'll do a stream tomorrow night. Fuck it. Maybe watch the last hour of AEW. No way Tony Click Clack gets banned at the store, right? I mean, I can't speak for Peter and Emily and whoever else would be in on that decision. I mean, I would say LA is a pretty liberal city, so there would probably be a protest if he played it, but probably also be a lot of fans who, I know, I believe they're working on some kind of Kill Tony documentary now. Can I roast battle Tom Myers? I don't know who Tom is. I mean, I know he was the guy that was on MLC yesterday, but I don't do the online roast battle. Um, do you think I did get shadow banned, William Zoom, for posting the Great White video? Really? From Jesse Lee Peterson? Really? Um, Dr. Nova with a Dan Bilak reference. Yeah, really. I mean, really? But there was no racist stuff in that. Well, no, Dominic, you didn't listen to the question. Well, my live stream is all dabblers, but there's nothing I can do about that. I can't control who listens, and I certainly don't have enough people in here to sit there and go, okay. Well, I am all about roast battles, but in person roast battles. Um, so, because anyone can roast battle on a computer. Like you and me could roast battle right now, Dominic. I could sit there and say, "Okay, Dominic, you are," and then just wait in a nice, relaxed environment of my living room. Um, I only roast battle in person, so that's always been my thing. I've judged a few online roast battles because I thought it would be fun, and certainly they were. But I don't really respect. Yes, I say it to my face. Listen, anyone. I'm not gonna roast battle ever again, to be honest with you, because I I went 4-1 on TV. I beat Comedy Central's #1 roast writer. I beat Jimmy Carr. I beat K. Trevor Wilson. And I literally got nothing out of it. So what the hell would I gain by battling Tom Myers? Like, no offense to Tom, but like if I didn't get anything from beating Jimmy Carr, I'm certainly not going to get anything from beating fucking Tom Myers. Um, that's very strange. Are you doing another bad guy pod? Probably not, just because with Chad, everyone snipes him and talks shit about him, and I just don't want to be involved in that shit. I'll do MLC because I like Kevin so much as a comic. I'm not going to do. Well, I think DePaulo's a great. I don't think DePaulo's ever done a roast battle. He's a great roast comedian, but. Um, I mean, he'd obviously be very good at roast battle. But the thing is, like Tony's a good roaster, but he wasn't a great roast battler. Because it's one thing to be able to write roast jokes and shit all over Tom Brady or whatever, but like when you have to kind of deal with a live rebuttal. Like, when I battled Jimmy Carr, you could tell Jimmy was not used to being spoken to like that. Um, what shirt do I have on today? Oh, it's a Guns N' Roses shirt. It's funny, when I went to this concert, it was at the new soccer stadium, which is basically in Compton. 2 more minutes, guys. Hit the like button on your way out. And, they start the intro to Welcome to the Jungle. Do you know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. And the guy next to me goes, well, we are in Compton. What the? Well, yeah, I mean, but that's, different AC/DC. Like, when you're, like when I was on the Shane Doan roast, I could shit all over Shane Doan. I sit down. About an hour and a half later, Shane gets up there to do the rebuttal. He might hit me hard once, but like roast battle, it's instant feedback. Like you could say something mean about me, but guess what? I get to say something mean back to you right away. You think DeRosa is still scared to step into anything roast battle? I mean, Joe's a perfect example of a great comic, but a horrible roast battler. Because once again, roast battling is instant feedback. "Oh, Earl, your head is so big, blah, blah, blah." Well, I could, look at you and say, well, blah, 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 about your head, bitch. Um, I mean, that's what I loved about roast battle was the instant give and take. I would like to see Earl roast battle Jeff. Well, he would never do it. And even if he did it, he would just have my ex Olivia write jokes. So I wouldn't even be battling him. I'd be battling her. and I've already beaten her. So, like, Jeff is never gonna write his own roast jokes. So you'd be battling. If there ever was, hey, fuck it, Earl, here's 10 grand, you and Jeff are gonna roast battle on television. Jeff would have Hinchcliffe, Tiana, and Olivia write jokes for him. So I would be battling them. I wouldn't be battling him. So yeah, and there's really no one else I want to roast battle. Like, yeah, I did what I did. I beat the best of the best on TV, and every single battle was meant for the other person to do well. Well, Earl will come out half naked, but you're a better rider. Jesse Joyce, K. Trevor Wilson, Tom Ballard, Jimmy Carr, Olivia, Benji. I could keep going. Well, it's just like the last time when I went up there against Jeremy Piven, and Jeff said, I had a really nice leather jacket on. He's like, Earl, you look like you're wearing the inside of a leather jacket. He's literally said that line like 5 times in that room. So yeah, 100% Amel, mother. All right, we didn't hit the goal of $5, so I'm ending the stream now. Steel Toe has a goal of like $400. I have a goal of $5 every stream. So we did not hit that goal. So I must. Who knows? Hal said, Jesus, that's another deep cut reference. So this has been the Earlverse stream Tuesday night. I'm off to watch the Kings and the San Jose Sharks. Does Jeff Lipp still go up at the store? I haven't seen him in a while. And I actually told Emily, hey, you can put us on the same lineup. There'll be no problems from my end. So I don't know. I mean, I know obviously he has a place in New York. And people always ask me, is it Steel Toe Dabble versus Loser? 100%. That's a fact. When people ask me all the time, is it awkward when we see each other? It's not awkward for me because I don't take back anything I've ever said. Not one word. Because I speak the truth. Okay, 100% Dominic. All right, we'll go to 105. We'll do 3 more minutes of overtime. So because when you talk shit and then you see someone, then it's awkward because you kind of regret what you said. But when you kind of keep it factual, he can't come up to me and go, "Hey, I didn't fuck you over on 2 TV shows," because he knows he did. Now he doesn't care. But, you can't, to the people who follow roasting and roast battle and the Earlverse stream, and I'm sure there's people in this stream right now who don't think I'm funny. And that's fine. Comedy's subjective. No comic on earth is ever going to have 100% approval rating. But the one thing nobody can say about me is I don't lie. Am I capable of lying? 100%. Did you or Red Band make taking gas station boner pills a bet? I mean, I think Red Band, I used to tell him which ones to get. Boing! So, but, gas station boner pills, I mean, it's not like that's my exclusive subject. Well, I don't even know who he is, Dominic. And I'm not playing dumb, or I'm not trying to act cool and like set up a roast battle of me saying I don't know who he is. I mean, I've heard the name before, but I'm assuming he's an East Coast comic. I'm in my own fucking world out here, baby. But someone, I mean, Dave Attell to me is the GOAT, but I'm sure there's someone out there who doesn't think he's funny, which is crazy. But, well, I don't beg to be on anyone's stream. I mean, I set it up with Kevin and Chad. I said, hey, I think Chad texted me last Monday, so a week ago from yesterday, can you do MLC this week? I said, they were just about to end on Monday. So I said I could have done today, but I'm in a cartoon session all week, so I can do next Monday. And it was a go. And, I waited all day for the link, and I think Kevin double booked, which I get it. When you're hosting a podcast every day, you probably do double book guests, but I'm not going to beg to go on a show. So it's all good. I mean, we got 10 seconds, guys. We'll figure it out. 3, 2, 1. I must bid you adieu. Good night. Good luck. And bang!